Hello, I'm Manny Gonzalez, an author, motivational speaker, and licensed clinical social worker in the state of Indiana. But I've been retired a few years and I've been kind of practicing and preparing and rehearsing for this moment. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for listening, for tuning in to my stress management workshop titled Three Keys to Survive a Mental Meltdown. I'm very excited about being here because I have something to share with you. Over time, I've developed and prepared and come up with a system, a workshop that will help you minimize, control, and reduce stress. And that's not that easily done. Everybody seems to be experiencing some sort of stressor these days. People everywhere I go tell me, Manny, I'm so stressed out. There's no question that people are feeling stressed out. And this is what I gear this presentation to. Hoping to encourage, empower, energize you to begin to reduce, minimize, and control stress a little better. In over 35 years as a therapist, a counselor, a social worker, I've easily treated probably nearly 40,000 patients or clients. In that time period, almost any issue, any problem, any situation you can imagine has been presented. From the cradle when I worked at Children's Memorial Hospital with HIV, cocaine, alcohol syndrome babies, to the grave with combat veterans, many of whom had PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and unfortunately some of whom committed suicide. If you're a veteran, let me take this moment to thank you for your service, your sacrifice. God bless you. If you know a veteran, please remember them on their special days. Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day. As I travel around and as I talk to people, I usually ask, what is it you want out of life? What are you looking for? What do you want? What is your desire, your goal, your wish? You know what the most common answer I get usually is? I just want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. In the 1960s, Jimmy Soul sang, if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, make an ugly woman your wife. Bad advice. In the 1980s, Bobby McFerrin sang, don't worry, be happy. And just a couple of years ago, Ferris Williams sang the happy song. Happy, happy, happy. Everybody wants to be happy. They want to enjoy life, be free from the cares of this world, have peace of mind. Isn't that what you're looking for? Let me ask you this. How many of you have been struggling with stress lately? How many of you know someone that's been struggling with stress lately? How many of you know someone that struggles with stress only when you are near? There's a message there. You may be a carrier. There's no bug, no virus, no germ that causes stress. However, it's like the common cold. It can be passed on. It's contagious and infectious. Ever hear of bad company corrupts good character? It can rub off on you. If you're around grouchy people, guess what happens to you? You become grouchy. If you're around complainers, guess what happens to you? You complain. If you're around upbeat people, what happens? You become upbeat. So watch who you hang around with. That's an important point also. And as we look at the stressors in this life around us, let me ask, what is your major stressor? What is it that you think people are complaining about or affected by in regards to stress? What about financial issues, economic problems, mortgages, car payments, on and on? What about medical issues, medical problems? Family members ill or maybe even bedbound? What about relationships? What about divorce? The horrible stress it brings on the children, the family. What about teenagers? Do you have teenagers? What about being stuck in traffic? There's an endless line of items and issues that you can look at that cause stress. It's all around us. And stress isn't easily controlled. However, my 3 keys to survive a mental meltdown will help you minimize, reduce, and control stress. And I speak from experience, as my 35 years of experience, as I mentioned, plus my own personal life, what I've gone through and how it's affected me and those around me. And as we look at stress, we find that everywhere you go, it's a huge problem. It's one of the greatest challenges we face in this country to control stress. According to the American Psychological Association, our country is on the verge of a stress-induced national health care crisis. And do you know what the most stressed country in the entire world is? Yes, the good old US of A, according to the World Health Organization. And do you know that we have the highest standard of living? We have the highest incomes, the biggest of everything, the most money, the best health care. You name it, we are on top. And yet we rate very low on the scale of countries that have people that are happy, that are relaxed, that are content. Stress is a huge problem. And we're told that 3 out of 4 doctor or ER visits are directly related to stress. Yes. Have you ever ended up in the ER and the doctor says, I don't find any problem for your pain, your whatever it is that's bothering you? They say, it must be related to stress. It happened to me. Ended up in the ER with chest pains. The doctor says, what do you do? I told him. He says, you're not leaving this hospital. You're a prime candidate for a heart attack. And do you know what the leading cause of death in our country and the world is? Heart disease. Heart disease. And you know what's the one biggest challenge in regards to heart disease is? Stress. Talk to any cardiologist, read any article on heart disease. You know what it tells you? Control stress, control stress. Extremely important, because if you don't, guess what happens? You end up in tremendous conflicts, horrible chaos, unbelievable frustrations, along with many other things. And do you know, it could cause death. Yes, stress related to other issues can affect the heart and other systems in your body that can lead to death. So the importance of controlling, minimizing, reducing stress cannot be overemphasized. That's why I present this program, 3 keys to survive a mental meltdown. And again, I'm Manny Gonzalez, and I will get into those keys in a later program. Just wanted to share with you some introductory thoughts and items. Thank you so much for tuning in.